Hello, everybody. Hello, welcome. Welcome, you glorious grape seeds, to Kop On podcast. Whoever you are, wherever you are, around the world, listen to the audio feed or in the YouTube chat, in the YouTube channel. You're very welcome. You could not be more welcome. And I am talking to you. It's not everyone else. Apart from you, I'm including you, the listener, you, the watcher. You are extremely welcome and adored and loved. I've got three very special guests with me. I've got Nigel and Alan, who's back after a long time, and somebody making a Kop On debut here. We've got Faye with us. Faye, I'm so happy to have you here on Kop On. I don't live in Britain. I don't have a TV, but apparently you're on some kind of TV show. Is that right?
Yeah, well, I was season 1 of The Traitors, which was filmed 2022, and we've just finished season 2 this year.
And tell me, what is The Traitors? Because I'm sure that some of our listeners won't know either. What is it?
Well, The Traitors is a program a bit like if you play Mafia. Some people know the game Mafia. So it's 22 people basically in a castle in Scotland, and 3 people are picked to be traitors and the rest are faithfuls, and the traitors murder at night, and the only time the faithfuls can get rid of a traitor is at the round table, which is once a day. So basically the gist of it is that whoever survives at the end, if traitors survive, they take the money. If faithfuls survive, they share the pot.
Wow. Sounds like what goes on inside Old Trafford to me, but there you go. And you were at the cup final because you're also a massive Red as well. Tell me about how your love for Liverpool FC started.
For me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, my dad came over from Barbados in the late 50s. And he was part of the Windrush generation. And that was the first port he landed at was Liverpool. And then he went over to Cardiff and then came down to sunny Suffolk where he met my mum. But growing up, all we heard about was Liverpool this, Liverpool that. And, you know, when you're young, you look at a team to support. And because we heard Liverpool the whole time, and my dad's fondest memories of Liverpool, I supported Liverpool, and that's what happened.
Wonderful stuff, wonderful stuff. And you were at the cup final. You were saying before we went live, you were there at Wembley the other day.
Yes, I was there when Virgil flipped in that special goal of his. Yep, I was there. Glorious. Fantastic, absolutely fantastic. Yep.
Was it your first cup final?
Oh no, I was at the last one. I was at the 11-10 penalty shootout as well. In 22, I was there right behind the goal, actually.
So you're Queeveen's lucky star then? You're Queeve's lucky charm?
Absolutely. I've never seen Liverpool lose at Wembley, so that's great. Yeah.
Wonderful. Yeah. And there was something that I asked, I was very happy to talk to John Gibbons to have from the Anfield rap the other day, and he was saying that the alley in extra time was particularly special.
Absolutely incredible. I mean, it must have gone on for a good 4 to 5 minutes. Yeah, it was amazing. It really was. Yeah. Excellent
stuff. And we've got a couple of people in the chat. Christopher Hamilton's here, and he says, "Love the Traitors." So there you go. I mean, I assume you're not talking about Raheem Sterling. You're talking about the TV show. There you go. You got a fan in already, Faye. And Liz Golden is here. Hello, Liz. She says, "Hello, good people." Well, hello to you, Liz. Great to have you with us. We're going to obviously in this episode, we're going to talk about in this show. We're going to talk about last night. FA Cup golden memories were created for Jayden Danns and Nigel. Bringing you in here. As someone like me who watches as much content of the youth teams, and we've done it for years on LFC TV, we knew Jayden Danns was good. And of course, we're going to have to talk about Luis Kumas as well. 2 18-year-olds scoring, I think, for the first time in our history in the same match. But Jayden Danns stole the show with 2 goals in front of the Kop. Are you sort of surprised that he's come into the team? He started training with the team on the 26th of January. He came in last week for his debut. He won a cup on the weekend, and last night he got 2 goals in front of the Kop. You've got to be a little bit surprised about just how brilliant he really is, aren't you?
Well, he said it last night himself. He only been promoted to the under-21s a couple of months ago. You know, he was playing under-18s and he got promoted to the 21s. It's just the injury crisis has coincided with this influx of raw talent, basically. From one of our, we've got so much coming through. Like we had Harvey Elliott. We signed Harvey Elliott at 15, 16, and now he's 20. Played 101 games, 102 games after last night with Liverpool. And, you know, he's shown what he can do. So, like, it's a credit to our academy staff in conjunction with Jurgen and his staff, I presume. And the fact that they're all training in the same place after training separately at Melwood for years, and they all moved to the new Axa Training Centre, that can only be good for our kids, I think. And I think we're seeing the first fruits of that alliance between the younger guys, because the younger guys have to, when they're, if you're a young defender, and this says to you, 15, 16 years old, here's Virgil van Dijk, try and do what he does. Here's Ibrahim Konate, try and do what he does. You know, you can see it with Jarell Quansah, and he plays like Virgil. He has mannerisms like Virgil. He just he takes the ball out like Virgil. He passes like Virgil. All these guys. Look at Bobby Clark there last night. He's looked like he's played in the midfield for years. So it's as simple as that. We're seeing the fruits of a very good partnership from our youth team to our senior team. Can only be good.
Absolutely. I mean, Jay Spearing was interviewed post-match on LFC TV, and he was talking about how proud everybody is in the academy, and they really should be. Alan, welcome back to Kop On. If you had to choose one between Dans, Kumas, McConnell, Bobby Clark, and the very little we saw of Trey Nioni last night, who... wow, he looks amazing. He's as thin as a toothpick, but he's got incredible talent. You can see, wow, what a player we have on our hands. Only 16 years old. That's crazy. Anyway, Alan, if you had to choose one that you're most excited about from the group of youngsters coming through, who would it be and why?
Ooh, why do you always give me the hard questions?
Yeah, sorry.
But first of all, if you don't mind me saying, when Trey came on last night, I was watching it live, and he looked like a 13-year-old. His face and all, he's so young looking. But there was one moment where the camera kind of spun around to the side, and he looked, and you could see he noticed the camera, and he put a little smile on his face. It was like, oh no, he's going to get overwhelmed now. He's going, But no, the minute he stepped over the line, he just turned into a man straight away. He was fantastic. I was slightly worried when I seen that moment, if you know what I mean. It was like he was slightly distracted. Yeah. But yeah, he looks fantastic. I think, like you said, that's a great question. I think the main difference between all of them is that maturity, and I'd like to add Bradley back into that as well. Like
of
Bradley's,
course, yeah, I knew I was forgetting someone. Yeah.
Bradley's the one that excites me probably more than the rest of them. But Dan's, it looks like he's going to be a finisher. Like that second goal in particular, the first goal was super finished. Didn't even look at the keeper, dinked it over him, super. But I was more impressed with the second goal, because how many times have we had shots that got over the season or over last season where there was no one there just to tap them in? And to me, his position there, the way he was following that ball in and everything, he is really exciting me, really is. And have to give credit to our under 20 specialist here, Nigel, underage Nigel, because he's been speaking about him for a while, and now I see what they were talking about, Nigel.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. We've been, I mean, very excited about a few of them, and it's showing. It's
Going back to Bradley, Owen, because I think what I've been saying about Bradley, because he really excites me. Alan, do you think that Trent and him could play together?
Yeah, I
Because
think
I
they
love
can.
Trent. I like what Trent brings, because we need someone like Trent, kind of like that Beckham role, to be able to whip the ball in. Bradley, for me, he's just tenacious. He's not only does he runs with the ball, not many of them want to take players on. He does. He defends well as well. So
Yes.
I wondered if him and Trent could play together. What do you think?
Yeah, I think they can, and I think it gives us options in games. I think you can have we can have Trent, say, up midfield ahead of Bradley, then they can swap at different times in the game, which gives us a different dimension during the game. Like we say sometimes about, your right forward and your left forward. If you switch over in the middle of a game, it confuses the other team, it changes things. So yeah, I think they can play together. I definitely think Bradley is 10 times better defender, as probably we all know anyway, and Trent is amazing going forward.
Yes.
But I actually wrote a note. I'm glad you asked, Faye, because I actually wrote a note here. We're just trying to get back into this team. Bradley's just playing so good.
He's fantastic. Honestly, if you'd seen him at the weekend, I mean, to be at Wembley, he wasn't out of place. I mean, and Wembley's a huge pitch. He was up and down. He was incredible. I know he came off quite early because he got that card, but honestly, I mean, Ben Chilwell would have probably wound him up. He probably would have got a red card. So I think Kop did the best thing in bringing him off. But honestly, I mean, he's an incredible player. Absolutely incredible. Yeah, he's going to be like Gerrard, Bradley.
Oh, that's big. Oh, that's it.
Honestly, I can see it. I really can. You've got that stature. Yeah.
No, I
he
see
has
what you're
that bit,
saying.
He has that bit of steel in him, doesn't he? Like, even when Chilwell was, aggravating and pushing him, he wasn't backing down. He had
Absolutely.
that steel, bit of not tuggery, but a bit of strength.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, he does. But I mean, I don't know. After the match, what did Klopp say? I've got the quote somewhere about tempering expectation. He said something like, hang on, I've got it in front of me here. He said, from tomorrow, Klopp said, and I quote, "From tomorrow, leave the boys in the corner, please. And don't ask, where are they now? Where are they now? Where are they now?" So Klopp wants us to, perhaps not, not pile the pressure on too much. But I understand exactly where you're coming from, Faye, because there's the all-rounderness of, if that's not a word, but it is now, of Conor Bradley in the same way as Gerrard, right? I mean, he's got pace, he's got tenacity, the bites that Alan was talking about, and the quality on the ball. I did think he looked a little bit like he'd been on the sauce last night after the match on the weekend, and you would not deny him a couple of liquid gold, whatever people drink these days. I don't know. I've stopped alcohol almost 5 years ago now. Oh yeah, almost exactly 5 years ago. And and I don't regret it. If anyone wants to stop drinking alcohol, then please do, because it's good. But anyway, Conor Bradley, he looked a little bit, I don't know how you felt about that, Nigel, a little bit off the pace. He grew into the match and he got better, as we did. But I thought we started very poorly last night. I mean, Klopp said as well, we were all over the place for the first 15 minutes. Were you worried?
I was, but then, Queevy made a couple of great saves then last night as well, you know what I mean? And we just defended really well. Once we got to, once they had a couple of really good chances. They hit the post early on and a couple of saves. We needed to put the foot on the ball, basically, is what we needed to do. Southampton started hoping we might have a little bit of a cup hangover, basically, I think, and we did a little bit. It's a very overall atmosphere at Anfield when it's in full flow like that after we won a cup. And we just kind of started off a little bit on the back foot, I think, last night. But once we got going and we started getting the foot on the ball, once we got it took us nearly the whole half to get the grips with it. Well, probably until we scored, really. But I think we controlled it well enough. There was a few people giving out there last night when Virgil went off. Oh no, what are we going to do without Virgil? Ibu came on last night and was just, my God, he was immense. I thought he just, the guys were running into spaces, and like he was thinking, "Oh, you think you're going to get that ball? No,
yeah,
forget about it. Just no, not an open hand." He's just stepped across a couple of people and put a foot in on people, and he was great. Yeah, there might have been a little bit of a hangover overall from the start last night, but I think once we got the grips with it, once we started putting the foot on the ball and started pinning Southampton back, once we scored, I think there was still a little bit of threat, but I think we always had a little bit more in the tank.
Yeah, I mean, the atmosphere kind of died after a few seconds when they had they kicked the ball in the net, but it was fortunately ruled out for offside. It was quite a clear offside. But yeah, I mean, it came back at the end of the first half. It wasn't until the end of the first half that we had our first shot, which is a Harvey Elliott long shot, and that really sparked the crowd into life, I thought, Alan. Because after that, the next highlight, if you look at the highlights on YouTube, was actually the goal. It was Lewis Koumas's goal from Bobby Clark, jinking inside and playing a lovely ball, a straight, direct ball through, breaking the lines ball to Lewis Koumas. And he had been very, very quiet because he'd had no service. And he's got that thing, and we've seen it at youth level where he's not massive. Jayden Dance is very big for his age, Koumas doesn't have that physicality. He's not lightning quick, but he's similar to Diogo Jota, I think, in terms of like he's got a great touch, and he's just like intelligent in the sense of like simplifying the game. He's like, what do I need to do? I'm a striker. I need to kick the ball in the net. So I'm going to try and do that as quickly as possible. And so he got the ball, he jinked inside, he got a bit of luck with a deflection. But it was a brilliant moment, Alan. I don't know how you felt. Were you up and punching the air? Were you sort of dancing around? I had this sort of feeling in my heart. It was all a flutter. I was so happy for the little guy. The little guy, I'm old enough to call him that. Sorry for patronising you, Lewis Koumas. But there you go. What did you make of that goal, Alan?
Yeah, I was up dancing around here. But you virtually took the words out of my mouth. He's a real Jota type of player. Because when he went in for that there, I don't know, I just had a feeling. I just knew he was going to shoot. And when they went into the bottom left, I didn't see the deflection. First of all, probably most of us didn't. But I wasn't surprised. I just had a feeling that goal was coming. He's just that type of player that just gives you that feeling. Like, yeah. And I think the other important thing as well is, and to go back to the final on Sunday as well. Especially the final on Sunday when the 3 or 4 young lads come on together, the interchanges between them, because they are so used to playing together, was amazing. And I think that's why they settled so quickly in the game on Sunday as well, because they had the 3 or 4 that played together all along. And again, when Bobby passed in that ball to him, like, it was instinct. He knew who he was passing it to. Koumas knew it was coming. He already had in his head he was going to touch it, turn, and try and get a shot off. So it's really exciting. And I think even Jurgen said before the game about Koumas that he's such a great finisher, and it was just a Jota type finish. You just seen him going in, and you just kind of had a 99% feeling it was going in. I think like you said about the start, Southampton came there last night thinking, right, Liverpool is decimated with injuries. some of the players on the pitch, like Harvey and stuff, had done 120 minutes the other day or more with injury time and extra time. They came there thinking, this is our chance. They had the first 20 minutes where, yeah, we were getting into the game. Some of the young players were getting into the game, the emotion of Sunday and everything. So it was just, it was their chance. They had 20 minutes good play, probably 40 minutes. They missed their chances. Kuma stepped up. Bang, bottom corner. Game over at that stage, I thought, straight away. I just thought, that's it. Once Klopp gets them in at half time, they're going to get better and better. And again, just the young lads are going to get all the credit, of course, and they deserve it. But that's 2 games in a row. Kelleher should have been man of the match. And the goal scorer took it off him. Where would we have been in that first 20 minutes without Kelleher?
I agree 100% with you, Anne, and I was I know Van Dijk got man of the match for the Wembley game, and rightfully so, because he had one ruled off side, and then that, but honestly, if you've seen it, oh my God, he was amazing. The keeper, he kept us in the game. They could have had 2 or 3.
Yeah, I'm getting jealous. He's talking about being there all the time, Faye, you stop.
I'm just hoping that we can beat Man United so I can get to the semis.
Oh, man. Oh, that would be just amazing, wouldn't it? Man United. We'll talk about that in a bit, actually, about the how we feel about going to Old Trafford for the next round. We'll talk about that in a little while, because I want to stick with this match and the effect that goal had, because as you said, Alan, you thought at that point when that goal went in that it was game over. I wish I'd shared your confidence, because I thought I thought it would give us a lift and a boost, but I just thought Southampton looked dangerous, at all times, really. But the next highlight after Kumas's goal, was when McConnell won the ball high up the pitch, and he played it immediately to Kumas. And there's something about that where, what you were saying before about them playing together and knowing each other, so important for the team going forward. And it's something that Christopher Hamilton says in the comments as well on YouTube. He says, Klopp wants the kids to play the same way as the first team, so that when they get promoted to the first team, they know the right way to play and they're not out of their depth. And it's absolutely true, Christopher. Yeah, thank you very much for that comment. You're bang on, as they say. Yeah, absolutely. And so McConnell winning the ball, firing it to Kumas along the floor. Brilliant pass. Kumas, great control. He didn't know which way he was going to jink, but he slipped in. Cody Gakpo, who dragged his shot like RuPaul dragging on a cigarette. It couldn't be more dragged. It was very dragged, and it was it was a shame for Gakpo. He didn't have his finishing boots on, because he had some great opportunities last night. In terms of Cody Gakpo, I think that he looks like he's missing a little bit of confidence in front of goal, but he's got all of the attributes. I really love Cody Gakpo, because he's got great touch. He's great dribbling skills. And yeah, I don't know, Faye, give me your opinion on Cody Gakpo this season.
Extremely hard was it Sunday? Sunday. He worked extremely hard, and that's the bit we don't see a lot of. Yes, he does miss quite a few chances, but honestly, off the ball, he is amazing. He really is, and that's the work rate. That's what you need to get all of that into sort of consideration. That it's not just about scoring; it's what you do off the ball as well. And he works really hard. You could see that at Wembley. It's because Wembley's huge. Honestly, you think Anfield's big? It's just enormous. And to get up and down that pitch and frustrate the opposition, that's what Gakpo's good at, because he's quite gaggly. Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah, and that might have had a factor in him missing the few shots he did yesterday. The fact that he had played so hard and so well for the team on Sunday. Yeah. Good points, exactly. There you go. Gary Richards is in the chat, and Doug is in the chat as well. Doug from the Dugout Football Channel. Do follow them on YouTube. And Doug's wonderful. He says the future is bright. It's absolutely bright. It's dazzlingly bright. And he also says last night was murder on the dance floor. Very good, Doug. Very good. I like it. Gary Richards, he says tally ho, Gary. Great to have you with us. Gary's a big fan. He says Jayden Dance is a star. Yes, he is, Gary. Yes, he is indeed. And another star we've got, only 20 years old, is Harvey Elliott, who played in Jayden Dance with a brilliant piece of play by Harvey. I mean, when we talk about fatigue, Nigel, Klopp said after the game that Harvey shouldn't have started in a perfect world. And of course he shouldn't, because he played 120 minutes. And he was absolutely running his nuts off, if you excuse the expression, on Sunday. And then he came into yesterday's game, last night's game. He gave the ball away early doors to the good player they have, Samuel Edozie, who touched it to I forget their names exactly, excuse me, Alibo, wasn't it? Who was brilliant, jinked around a couple of our guys and slipped in Sulemana, who hit the post, if you remember that chance, Nigel. That came from Harvey Elliott giving the ball away. He must have had heavy legs at the start, but it's almost like his body works in reverse. He started off tired and had more and more energy, like on Sunday. It's absolutely...
Benjamin Button, huh?
Benjamin Button, but in every match. Yeah, exactly. In every match, he starts off older and gets younger and younger. It's incredible, Nigel. Harvey, again, I mean, just his second half performance alone was sensational. But I don't know. Talk to me about Harvey. Say whatever you want.
He's been really, really good the last few games. You know, I said it even on our previous pod. Had me doubts because of his pace. He played 4 different positions on Sunday. When Ryan Gravenberch went off injured, Harvey got his position switched. And then he switched it again when we made another substitution later on. And so he played several positions. You know, these versatile players are our manager's dream. All you've got to say to these guys, just drop back, push on, push right, push left, and they know their job instantly. It's a huge thing. Just to get back to the dance thing again for a second. Mm-hmm. He knew, like, you push the ball into the space. Like, we have Darwin there now at the moment, and he's got big with electric pace and good movement. The thing defenders hate the most, movement. You know, turn them, to turn defenders. How many great players have we had like that over the years who could do that, to turn players? We've got, I see a lot of people last night comparing him to Fernando Torres. And like, it was that thing. But with that little pace, especially for the first goal. The second goal was much more Jota, Ian Rush reaction. But the first goal, like, is pure, like, John Aldridge. Just little burst of pace, little burst of pace across the edge, across the front of the defender, and I'm sure he had looked to see the goalkeeper coming in the first place, but the eyes never stirred off the ball when he was going to chip it. That's what cost Gallagher his chance on Sunday against Tweebing Kelleher. He looked down to settle his feet to see where the ball was going, and Kelleher was on top of him. And that's the difference. Gallagher is a good player for a midfielder, but he's not a striker. A natural striker won't need to break stride or look down, look up, or look down at something to see where he's going to try and put the ball. It was just natural. I was watching his eyes last night when he did it. His eyes just stayed on the ball, and just the dink came, because naturally they know the goalkeeper is going to go down. So, like, we've got to remember as well, there's another guy. There's several more guys in the academy waiting to come on, but Trent Coney-Doherty, a young lad from Derry.
We can talk
He's
about
going to be.
We could talk about, you know, Oakley Cannoneer, who's been injured and never.
Yeah, he's had a bad injury. Couple of bad injuries.
it's hopefully he comes back from it. But yeah, I
And
mean,
his younger brother.
his younger brother. I didn't know he had
Yeah, he's got.
younger brother.
I think he might actually have two younger brothers.
Oh man,
Oakley Cannoneer, and they're both in the academy.
are they also named after surfing clothing brands? Do we have
I'm not
Rip Curl
sure.
Cannoneer? No, okay.
No,
But no, talking about Dan's, let's stick with Dan's for the moment, because I mean we can talk about him all day, and hopefully we will.
Oh yeah.
Alan, Jaden, Dan's. I mean, Jurgen Klopp after the game, talking about the goals, he said, and I quote Jurgen, he says, "They are exceptional talents," talking about Dan's and Kumas, "but of course it is not natural that a boy 18 is calm as you like and just chipped the ball there. The second goal, I would have expected him to be there because he saw when Connor shot that the goalie cannot take it. He really arrives in these moments, and he was hoping the keeper couldn't hold it." And so, talking very quickly about those two goals, Jurgen Klopp there, absolutely brilliant. He sort of, Jurgen Klopp expected Dan's to react so quickly, so that tells you what he's been doing in training. Wow. Lightning reactions, as you were saying before, Ellen. I mean, it was so satisfying, the second goal. But the first goal, that chip, like Nigel said, pure striker's instinct. And Jurgen, again, beautiful soundbite from Jurgen. He called that the second goal, the ability to sniff out an opening. Jurgen Klopp called it proof of his nose. And I really like that. So he's got the nose, he's got the striker's instinct, and just the joy, Alan, of seeing Jaden Dan score, the joy in his face. You could tell he's a Liverpool lad. He's come up through the academy. He's just living a dream. And as a couple of people have said in a couple of things I read in a couple of newspapers, and a couple of people mentioning in various review shows of last night, if you had written that script that an 18-year-old local lad comes into the team for a few minutes, then wins a trophy and almost scores 2 goals, and then on his home debut scores 2 goals in front of the Kop, that script would be rejected, wouldn't it? Talk to me about the joy that we all feel when we see these young kids coming through and doing well for the club.
Oh, definitely. If Netflix were trying to get a program, that's what they'd want, that sort of story, isn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, the joy in his face on, it's just it's fantastic. It's fantastic to see young players, doesn't matter where they're from, but especially if they're local lads, to come through and fulfill that dream, get such a start. The thing that impressed me most about him, well, there's 2 things actually. I'm smiling in his face. Did you see the interview with Harvey and him? And he was talking, and the smile on Harvey's face listening to him talk was just like, he was like a father figure, even though there were only 2 years between them.
Amazing. I didn't see that interview, Okay.
Yeah, very good. Try and find it. It's very, very good. And just watch Harvey's face. It's just amazing. He mentioned, this is what I love about our club, he mentioned his dad was in the crowd, his mother, his 2 siblings, and his nan was in the crowd.
Wonderful.
And then they asked him about the first finish, and he's if I remember correctly, he said something like, "Yeah, it was a great ball in from Harvey, and I just knew the keeper always goes down." So like they mentioned him, he didn't look. And then the other thing I loved about him was when they asked him about the second goal, and they mentioned his celebration. You see the way he slid along the ground and he put 2 fingers up for 2 goals.
Mm-hmm.
The thing I loved about him was he said, "I lost my composure when I did that silly thing." So
Great.
that for me was the moment I thought one of the moments I thought this guy is going to be awesome, because he's grounded. As we all know, our academy keeps players grounded. But to me, when I heard that come out of his mouth, I thought, wow, this is something special coming with this guy. Yeah. He has the strength. He's not Speedy Gonzalez, but he has pace, has the ability, and now we know he has the mentality. So to me, I'm very, very excited about him. Really.
It's so great. It's so great to see. Faye, I mean, when you look at the attacking talent coming through, I mean, Ben Doak injured, Cade Gordon still coming back from injury, but still very young. He's still only 19. He may recover the form that had him heralded as one of the brightest young talents in Europe. And then the ones like Kumas and Dan's, that's just the strikers. And then the other ones that we haven't even seen yet, like Oakley Cannonier, etc. Then you look at the midfielders coming through. McConnell, Trainioni, Bobby Clark, and someone else who I'm forgetting. And Harvey Elliott's still only 20, and Ryan Gravenberch is only 21. Curtis Jones is only 23, and you've got to look at Jurgen Klopp and go, what the hell are you leaving for? No? I mean, is there any chance? I'm still there's still a part of me that's.
This is why I think the next step's going to be very crucial. Who comes in, and it's got to be Alonso, because he knows. Alan's just mentioned the academy keeps all the players grounded. They're not allowed to buy Ferraris and smart cars. They've just got to come in with the basic vehicles. They're not allowed to come in with diamonds. They have to be.
I heard about this. So this is true, right? They're not allowed a car over 50 grand or something like that. Right. Over 1.3 litres. They've got to come in with their little Peugeots and stuff.
Absolutely, and their bags. They can't come in with all this fancy designer stuff. And this is why someone like Alonso has got to be the person to replace Klopp, because he knows the routine. He knows how it works, and he'll be able to continue, hopefully, what Klopp has laid the foundations for him.
I would agree. I mean, I do have a thing for in my head for Amorim. Because if you look at what he's done at Sporting Lisbon, even though I don't follow Portuguese league at all, just looking at what he's done and reading what people say about him, and if you listen to the Sporting Lisbon fans or any Portuguese football fans talking about Amorim, he does look like a remarkable talent, and he's still only 39 as well. So there is that thing, and he's also had more experience and had to deal with more adversity than Xabi Alonso. So that's a good thing for him. But either Amorim or Alonso, yes. Alonso, definitely, you're totally
the respect factor for the players with Alonso is one of the things with Liverpool, so he knows. And I think it's the longevity we're looking at, aren't we? We have had other managers that have come in like Benitez and that, and they haven't known the proper Liverpool way. Otherwise, they would have been there the whole time, like Klopp. Klopp's done 8.5 years. Alonso's done 5. And if he comes in, he'll probably do another 5. So, yeah.
Hopefully. But is there any chance, though, Faye? Is there any chance that you're clinging on to a glimmer of hope that Jurgen's going to just look at himself in the mirror and say, I'm a football manager, it's what I do, I'm going to miss it too much, and I'm just going to stay?
No, I don't think he would have made the announcement. That's my personal opinion.
Yeah,
I think that... Right. Yeah, it's the right time for him to go, gosh, oh my God. I think a lot of managers, poor Roy Hodgson should have gone last year when he kept Palace up. Do you know what I mean? You go when it's right for you, and I think it's right for Jurgen, and he'll remember. He'll be a legend, won't he? It's as simple as that.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, they're going to do something to remember him by. I mean, the Paisley's got the gates, Shankly's got the gates, Kenny Dalglish has got the stand. Paisley's also got a statue, as Shankly does, and who knows what they'll do for Jurgen? Maybe pardon?
A fist pump.
Oh yeah, fist pump statue. That would be good. I was thinking they would just name the beer stand after him, Yeah, I mean, as you say, I think you're right. He's very unlikely to change his mind. He's made up his mind, and it's the right time for him. But it's the wrong time for me. I want him to stay for another 25 years and just, stay until Roy Hodgson's age at least, and continue his amazing work. Because there's something about how... yes, Nigel, you want to come in?
Yeah, just... could they change? The ticket receptors? When you flash your tickets going into the ground.
Yes.
Could they turn them into fists and put them out like that? If someone's passing a receptor, put the fist out like that. A little light comes on the bottom of them. You flash your ticket. How about that?
Very good. Very good. Or they could have a little recording of Jurgen's voice going boom like that, and then everyone who joins goes into Anfield gets a little reminder of the boss. Because there's something, Nigel, about somebody mentioned the word demanding. He's a demanding manager, and I can't remember who it was. It was Next Pro. I can't remember which one. Was talking about having someone on the sidelines who's so demanding, and that's why he's leaving, isn't it? Because those demands take their toll on anyone. But there's something that the next manager needs to bring in, which is the standards, the high standards. And speaking of high standards, a club that definitely hasn't had them for many a year is Manchester United. And we've got Manchester United, Nigel, in the next round, the quarter-final, 16th of March. Put it in your diary. And I think Ten Hag has come out with some very arrogant things recently in his press conferences about how well United are playing. Whereas if you look at all of the victories they've had recently, they've all been a bit spawny in one way or another. They haven't really outplayed anyone, I think. And there's something about Ten Hag gaining in confidence, which makes me think that he won't park the tank like he did at Anfield. In the league, he'll try and attack us, and that's going to be his biggest mistake, because nobody's better than Jurgen at beating a team who tries to attack us. I'm very optimistic about this United tie. I think it's a great opportunity for Jurgen to go to Old Trafford and just tank them again. Am I being way too optimistic? Am I being too arrogant, Nigel? I don't know.
No, I don't think so. I think we won't play it up. We won't play it up by any manner of means. I don't think they probably will, because their crowd are going to be baying for our heads. You know, they're going to be really, really, really noisy that day. So we've just got to kind of weather the storm. We got to get they're going to come at us. Kind of suit us more, I think, than anyway. But well, we might have a few players back by then. But
don't jinx it.
No, first thing I do, get out there and hit that Fernandes a belt, hit him a slap, and leave your studs on him. I don't care. Take a yellow card in the first minute. I don't care. Let him know, because that'll knock him out of the game straight away. Get on the backs of their players. Sit tight on them. Casemiro will try and sit in. You know, but like, they have a tendency to push their two players on the outside of Casemiro, who will play in middle midfield, on, and leave him isolated in the back. So we sit in and keep a high line on those two other midfielders when they're trying to come forward, and then push in behind. And I don't think they can handle our pace.
Yeah, see, I don't think it's necessary. I totally agree. I don't even think it's necessary to leave a retainer or whatever it's called on Bruno Fernandes. I think it's but I think you're right. Yeah, it's a very good point.
Yeah, but he deserves a retainer, though. He just deserves several retainers.
Yes, but maybe someone else can do that in the car park after the match. No, I'm only kidding. I don't
wouldn't mind that either.
No, I mean, yes, he instantly slappable face, but I don't wish harm upon anyone. Maybe just slap him with a fish or something, you know, if you see him. You know.
A whale?
Oh, a whale. Yeah, okay. Okay, yes, but no, I mean, you know, he's. I think we just get to him psychologically by tanking his team again. Alan, how do you feel about going away to Manchester United in the next round?
Oh yeah, it'd be nice to have an easy game for a change, wouldn't it?
Yeah, very good. Yes.
No, yeah, I'm delighted. I think we want a game like that. We want a so-called bigger team as well for get the atmosphere going again. And who better to play than Man United in the quarter-final? Like, I think hopefully, like, not jinxing, we will have a few players back, because as good as our players are doing now, they need a rest too. So hopefully we'll have a few of the more senior players back. The way Darwin and them were jumping around today, I don't think they're too far away. But yeah, what better is there than the day before Paddy's Day to give Man United a whooping?
I mean, absolutely, yeah, totally. I mean, well, we were playing away at Goodison on Paddy's Day that's been rearranged. But yes, I mean, yeah, absolutely. We get one or the other. Slam Everton at Goodison or slam United at Old Trafford. I mean, it's good to know that Nigel and Alan are feeling very optimistic. Faye, are you equally optimistic about going to Old Trafford?
Yeah, it's a very difficult one. It depends what's happened the week before, I think, because we've got some big matches, haven't we? Starting with the Forest game. I think we've got Forest, have we got Brighton? We've got some big games, and I just think, will Klopp want the Prem more than the FA Cup? That's, for me, personally, it's the Prem. And the FA Cup, yes, great if we go to Man United and do the bit, but I just feel that, I don't know, I just think that Man United game, I'm very torn. I don't know what to think about that Man United game. I'm not as optimistic as Alan and Nigel, put it that way. I don't know why.
Okay, all right. But let me give you the fixtures. We got Nottingham Forest coming up on Saturday, 3 p.m. UK time.
And we need to win
then
that.
we're going away to. Oh, we absolutely do, and I'm going to get into that in a moment. We'll end the show talking about a preview of that match. So yeah, Nottingham Forest is next up, but then we go away to Sparta Prague in the Europa League, and you would think that we would be able to rest some of our top players for that one, but before Manchester City at Anfield on Sunday, March the 10th. And I can feel the ghosts in the ether are already excited about that one. And it's going to be, we're going to use all of all of our spiritual powers as a football club to hopefully get the 3 points there. And then we host Sparta Prague on the 14th, Thursday the 14th. And then apparently just 2 days later on the Saturday, although it might get rearranged, is the quarter-final against Old Trafford, against Man United at Old Trafford, excuse me. So it's Forest, Sparta Prague, Man City, Sparta Prague, and then Man United.
Have we not got Brighton? We've got Brighton in between that, haven't we, at home? Liverpool,
no, Brighton at home's not till the end of March. It's been rearranged.
31st, right, so that's okay. It's a tough few weeks, isn't it?
It's a very tough few weeks. And staying with you, Faye, talking about Nottingham Forest, a very sad statistic is that Nottingham Forest are unbeaten in their last 13 home league games against Liverpool, which is crazy.
Oh no, this is what I'm trying to say. I know that's not going to be an easy game. I was at the City ground last year, and they ran us ragged. They really did, and we were lucky to get away with just losing 1-0. That's the truth. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, I don't know. We're not very good with the smaller teams. Luton's the same. They give us a hard time, these little teams, you know. They're up for it, aren't they? So I just think that Nottingham game is a must-win this weekend. We really do need to win that, really and truly.
Well, I mean, it would be a double over Nottingham Forest because we beat them 3-0 at Anfield in October. But if we do manage to get the double on them, it will be our first league double since 84-85 under Joe Fagan. So, I mean, all of the pessimism, I totally understand. I share it. I'm also pretty pessimistic about this game because it's a huge challenge, especially because...
Yeah,
because it would be so easy for the mentality to either be caught in the past, the whirlwind of the last 2 games, all the kids coming through and all the joy of that, or be caught in the future and have our minds on our next league match, which is against Man City. So getting the mentality right is the big thing, isn't it, Faye?
And who will we have? We're talking, how many days? We're talking, what, 3, 4, who are we going to have?
I don't even know what day it is today. Oh, it's Thursday today, so it's in 2 days' time.
Yes, and who are we going to have? Who are we going to put out against that Forest game that's going to go there and beat them convincingly? Because it hasn't happened in a few years, so who are we going to put out?
Yeah, it's a good question. And we can't do a predicted lineup on here because that's the big question. We've got no idea who's going to be available. So yeah, but I don't know, Nigel. Are you? I mean, can you sort of allay our fears a bit here, or are you equally pessimistic?
No, I'm not. I'm not pessimistic. I think mentality is key, and I think you're going to have It's one thing us being pessimistic, but I don't think the players will be. I don't think Jurgen will be.
Mm-hmm.
I think he'll get them in the right frame of mind. He might have to do a little bit of changing. Harvey Elliott's played a lot. Conor Bradley's played a lot. He might have to do a little bit of switching here and there. I could see Dan starting, to be perfectly honest with you. I think, and possibly Mo and Dom and Darwin back, maybe. Maybe start.
If Darwin's back, what are you going to do? You're going to play. I'll bring you in a moment, Faye. But what do you mean? How would you start Dan with Nunes on the left and Dan?
No, start Darwin on the bench, maybe.
Okay.
And start because like man in possession, I scored 2 goals, so I just think I'd have Darwin kind of lying in wait. Give Jayden Dance maybe 60 minutes, 50 minutes, 60 minutes, and then kind of spring Darwin.
Wow. What were you going to say, Faye? Have you got a question? Or
Did you say Mo would be starting as well? Did you with him? Because you see, the next weekend is the big City game.
It is. It's a few minutes in the legs. Maybe might be a good thing. Sub again, maybe, and try and finish the game stronger than Forest. Maybe it might be the way to go.
Try and tire Forest out, and then bring on Mo Salah and Darwin as the game progresses. I mean, I could see that. Alan, you're nodding your head. Would you expect something similar? I mean, how are you feeling about the Forest game?
Yeah, I agree with Nigel there. I think the man in possession of the short, scoring goals, holds on to the short in my old school thinking. And Darren, Mo, if they're fit, coming off the bench to get 30 minutes in their legs would be the ideal situation. As for game after game, I just think we go back to our mentality monsters from a few years ago and just next game, win it. Next game, win it. Just sounds simple, but that's the way to do it.
Yeah, okay. Well, fair enough.
And 2 weeks ago, if you said to us about all the injuries, you'd be slightly worried, but after seeing what our squad can do and what our players can do, I have more confidence. So,
have you seen much of Nottingham Forest this year, Alan, or not really?
Not a lot. No, not a lot. But I do know they're capable of a big result against us. I know that, yeah. And like any team, that if they come with no pressure, they've nothing to lose or whatever. But I'm just confident in our team now. Next game, win it.
Okay. I mean, their last two home games, where they lost to Manchester United in the Cup, of course, yesterday. But in the Premier League, their last 2 home games, they beat West Ham on the 17th of February, and they lost narrowly to Arsenal 2-1 on the 30th of January. So I'm just going to have a look at their sort of lineup against Arsenal, for example, because if they lose 2-1 again, that would be pretty cool. So they had Matt Turner, if that's his name, the American guy in goal. Turner in goal. Toffolo, Montiel, Omobamidele, Murillo, Mangala.
That's the Irish guy. Omobamidele is Irish.
Your pronunciation is much better than mine. Omobamidele. Yeah. Okay, thank you. Excuse me for my pronunciation. They had Murillo. But then they got dangerous players. They got Gibbs White, who's a player I really like. They got Nico Williams, who might have a point to prove. Mangala's okay. Chris Wood can sometimes play like Pele, as Newcastle found out. And they've got loads of dangerous players. They've got the ex-Man United guy, Elanga, who's got a lot to prove, and he's been proving it. He's been brilliant this year. So they've got a number of players who can call us, and I'm sure there's someone I'm forgetting as well. I mean, they've got Divock as well, lest we forget. And there's a lot of players that we need to be wary of. You were there last year, Faye. It was one of the low points of a very low season, and you talked about being very wary going into this match. But even with the injuries, even if no one comes back, it can't be that bad as last year, can it?
No, I don't think, because we're on the upbeat at the moment. So hopefully, like the boys are saying, we can, have that mentality going into the match. I'm just concerned that I would hate for Mo or Nunes to do anything silly to miss that big game, because I know we need them for the Man City game. No ifs or buts. Mo and Nunes have got to start for that game for me. Out of all the players,
Totally agree.
100%. Those are the players that they fear. You know that if Salah's through, he's going to score. Nunes on his day can get a hat trick. He's just been so unlucky, and he was coming good just before his bloody injury, which is annoying, really. That beautiful little chip he scored the other day. That was similar to the Dan's goal.
I mean, it was more outrageous than the Dan's goal. The Dan's goal, you knew the keeper was going down, but Nunes, he had a 6'5" goalkeeper standing up right in front of him, chipped it up to the moon and back down into the goal from about 8 yards out. It was incredible.
That's the potential of Nunes. Nunes has so much potential. We just haven't seen it yet.
I totally agree. The only thing is the players themselves are a factor in this. Players want to play all the time, and that's you could argue that's what maybe, although we don't know, that maybe that had a factor in Trent being injured again, because he rushed himself back, declared himself fit, and the medical department couldn't see anything wrong, and it turned out there was something wrong. And so, I don't know, maybe we should insist that Salah and Darwin, I don't care what you say, don't care what the medical department say, we're going to give you just 30 minutes at the end of the match. To ease them back in for a bit of rhythm.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But there you go. But anyway, thank you. I think we're nearing the end. I don't know what else to add, really. Have I missed anything? Is there anything that we would like to talk about? I mean, I haven't actually talked about Konate, who you mentioned before. Konate was freaking amazing. Sorry to answer my own question. Is there anything we left out? Yes, Konate, because I had some stats in front of me before, if I can bring them up again, about Ibu in that second half. If you look at the defensive actions for Liverpool last night, so Conor Bradley had 2 tackles, no interceptions, no clearances. Virgil van Dijk had 3 tackles, 1 interception and 1 clearance in his 45 minutes. Jarell Quansah who was magnificent, he had only 1 tackle, 1 interception and 1 clearance yesterday. But Ibu in his 45 minutes had 3 tackles, 4 interceptions and 3 clearances. Absolutely insane stats for a second half performance from a defender. He's only 24 years old, and he's going to be absolutely monstrous. He's already absolutely monstrous, but he's going to be sort of, a sort of, extraordinary, unbelievable, even more unbelievable as he matures, continues to mature, because defending is an art. And if Virgil van Dijk is Leonardo da Vinci, then Ibu Konate could well be Michelangelo. We've got a Michelangelo coming through. Anyway, anything else that anyone would like to talk about? We didn't really mention Joe Gomez in the 6. We didn't mention Alexis McAllister coming off the bench and amassing 4 tackles, which was the most in our team. We didn't talk about...
Settled us down last night.
Pardon?
Alexis McAllister settled us down last night.
Oh, yes, he did.
He put his foot on the ball and he settled us down. He knocked the ball around and just helped calm us down when we were kind of under a little bit of pressure, but he eased it off.
Absolutely. It was massive last night.
He's improving, isn't he, Nigel McAllister? He had a slow start and he's now coming into it, isn't he?
Yeah, but he's like he played in a position completely alien to him that he hadn't played before. And he just looked so good in anything.
Yeah.
He was really, really good. Again, last night, he's like what's the Pepto-Bismol? He settles everything.
Okay, good to know. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, well, the Luton game is when I realised the potential. He was, oh my God, amazing in the Luton game. Yeah.
He's becoming a complete footballer, isn't he? He's just good at everything. Sorry,
I used to have arguments with my friends, like before the 2005 final in Istanbul, so to speak. I'd be saying to the guys, look at Didi Hamann, great stuff, unbelievable, what a player. And my friends would be saying to me, he's terrible, he does nothing.
I love Hamann. I love Hamann.
One of them walked up to me after the final, and the words, all right, I see it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Excellent stuff. We've still got people coming in the comments. This is great stuff. Gary Richards said some very good things going back on a bit earlier on our chat. He says to honour Jurgen Klopp, Liverpool should sell bratwurst at the burger stall from now on, which is a very good idea. And he's very confident, Gary Richards is, about the trip to Old Trafford. He said Liverpool will flush the old toilet, which is very nice. And Roll Me One Kenobi is in the chat. He says, hey all, hello, Roll Me One Kenobi. And Roll Me One Kenobi says, as a neutral looking in, Liverpool's youth is looking bright. And I'm glad you can see that, Roll Me One Kenobi, and I'm very glad you're with us in the chat, and do let us know who you support, because it's very nice that we get fans of other teams in the chat. You're very, very welcome. And yeah, I don't know. Alan, you got anything to add? Anything you want to talk about?
Just going back to McAllister there, one of the things I noticed yesterday, you know me, Owen, I'm a people watcher. But what I noticed when young Trey came on, sorry, I can't pronounce his second name,
Neoni.
I noticed the first 2 or 3 minutes he was on the pitch. Every time McAllister got the ball, he gave a simple 5-6 yard pass to Trey. Trey passed it back to him, just helped him settle down. That's the type of player I see him as. He's just a typical Liverpool player. They bought him for his personality, his goodness, his kindness. He's helping out a young player like that, give him a few simple balls, just brought him into the game. So that's another thing he adds to our team. Calmness, World Cup winner, giving a young lad a few balls. Brilliant. What difference did that make to him? Fantastic.
Yeah, great.
And second of all, if you don't mind me finishing off, I'd like to wish Faye a happy 35th birthday yesterday.
Yes, happy birthday, Faye, for yesterday.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, great stuff. And Roll Me One Kenobi says he's a Los Blancos fan. So yeah, Real Madrid. Okay, yeah, Spanish royalty. Great team, obviously. I hope you're enjoying Jude Bellingham. Trey Neoni. If you missed him last night, remember the name. He's going to be our own Jude Bellingham. God, I'm getting carried away. But why not? This is the time to get carried away as Liverpool fans. It doesn't matter if we've got the first team, the second team, the third team, or the academy team. This Klopp machine keeps on rolling in the results, rolling through like the combine harvester through the fields, chopping down everything and everyone in our way. So, thank you to Pan of Scouse, who's also in the chat. He says, this is a Dan's world, but it wouldn't be nothing without a winner or a goal. So a bit of James Brown there. And thank you very much, everybody. Thank you so much to Nigel and to Alan and to Faye. Do check out the Traitors TV show. Thank you. Follow Nigel at IrishRed11 on x.com. Alan, should we follow you on social media, or
no, just
out of it? Very wise.
Staying out of it, thank you.
Very wise. I sort of dip my head in and out. I don't know. I'm actually an aquaphobe or hydrophobe. That's the word. I'm actually genuinely scared of water, because my first memory when I was a kid is almost drowning, right? And when I'm swimming, I can swim. I had special swimming lessons, but it's like a trauma that's in my body, right? It's a classic thing. I had loads of classic signs of the trauma. I didn't remember until I was in my teenage years about this moment. And then I asked my mum, did I nearly drown when I was a child? And she's like, oh no, wow, you remember that? Yeah, okay. So yeah, I did almost drowned, and I was caught up in a net under the water, blah 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 blah. So anyway, now when I'm swimming, right, my body doesn't let me put my head under the water, because my body stops itself, and it's like, and I know in my mind I'm like, oh, I'm not going to drown. I'm just going to put my head under the water, but my body sort of doesn't let me. It's weird, and this is how I feel about Twitter. Is I think whenever I have to go on Twitter, I sort of duck my head in, and then I panic, and I come up, and I'm like, oh my god, look at that. So that's how I treat Twitter and social media. I just go in and out as quickly as possible, and try not to be too traumatized by the experience. But if you are on Twitter, then do follow Nigel, and do check me out at Kop On Podcast. Send me DMs and stuff. But the best way to get in touch is koponpodcast@gmail.com, which is what you did, Faye. And do you have any social media or anything to follow?
I'm at Radio Girls.
At Radio Girls.
With a Z, GRILZ. Yeah.
Excellent stuff.
Instagram. Yeah.
On Instagram.
Yeah.
Excellent stuff. Okay, so if you've got Instagram, do give Faye a follow. And thank you very much, Faye. It's been wonderful to have you on your first Kop On. And
thank you. I've enjoyed.
Well, I hope you can come back sometime, because it's been
definitely. Yeah.
Brilliant to speak to you, and speak to Nigel, and speak to Alan. Thank you so much, guys, for jumping in as well, and to everybody in the chat, and really everybody listening across this beautiful planet. I just want to remind you that there's a bit of an environmental crisis going on, but as we head into March in the Northern Hemisphere, it's a very good time to plant some flowers, especially local wildflowers, something that comes from the local area. So if you can, there is a movement going on of people, they call it flower bombing, where you get some seeds that are local to your area, and you chuck them into places like derelict urban spaces and things like that, and then you can see these wildflowers growing, and then the insects will come back, and we're going to rewild what we can, because it's good to take responsibility and do something for that. But in the meantime, let's all enjoy the footy. Let's all get behind Jurgen's relentless, resilient Rocket Reds. Thank you all, and we'll see you next time. You'll never